Welcome back to What to Drink Before You Die. And today we're talking about something truly legendary. Now I know us wine nerds, we get super negative when we talk about big investment coming into wineries. You know, fight the power, the evil empire, burn it down. We only like tiny little totally broke degenerate wineries with ridiculous winemakers who are making things out of sheds and bathtubs and there's only 20 bottles made and I have some so I'm the best. I know, we all have that I got there first kind of thing and you can't have any because it's so niche, right? I get it. But sometimes big investment is a great thing. And one of those examples is right here at Pichon, Longueville, Baron. What's crazy about it is if you're standing here at this estate, first of all, it's easily one of the most beautiful in Bordeaux, in case you haven't seen it, with the two iconic turrets and everything, absolutely stunning. But that aside, you're standing in the vineyard, you can more or less throw a rock right at Château Latour, and you're pretty darn close to the border of Saint-Julien, which happens to be Léoville-las-Casses, one of my absolute favorites. So the terroir does not suck. However, this was a historically underperforming estate. The yields were too high, vineyard management was shoddy, work in the winery not fantastic, and everything was done by machine. So although you have a great terroir with a fabled name, you rarely had something truly historic until AXA Millésimes stepped in the mid-80s. They pumped a bunch of money in, changed every practice for the better, improved all of the work, everything completely maniacal in terms of the sorting and the yields, cleanliness standards, I mean, you name it. And then came the 89 vintage. Boom. Everyone said, holy crap, where did these guys come from? And then the 1990 vintage came along. And then it's firework time, baby. Not only was 1990 one of the vintages of the century, of course, it seems like in Bordeaux, every third vintage is the vintage of the century, and it gets kind of annoying to hear about. I mean, especially now. It was like 2000, oh my God, 2000, best ever. And then came 05, no, my God, oh my God, best ever. And then came 2010.
A few moments later.
And then 2018, okay guys, no, seriously, it's like you're crying wolf, you know? If every fifth year is a year vintage of the century, something's not really making sense here. I mean, hey, the Bordelais have always been good at marketing. I mean, it's kind of how they started. Drain the swamp, plant some vines, we're the best wine on the planet. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it kind of all came from that, right? But this was back in a time when maybe two vintages out of every decade were even good, let alone great. And when the 90 came along, Pichon finally proved how great their terroir really is and put Pichon back on the map. So not only is this one of the, in my opinion, top wines of a top vintage, this was historically the first vintage that reintroduced Pichon Baron to the world and ushered in the era that we now know today as being so freaking fantastic. So let's go. My trusty Vinitas filling. I know, you're jealous. Crack, spin, booyah! Look at that color. Oh my God. It just looks like an old library full of wonderfully scented, leather-bound books. That mahogany glory. Oh God. It's just sexy looking at it, man. Pooh. OMG. Excuse me, how in the hell could you ever want anything more from a Pauillac? Holy crap. And it's so present and round. The tannins are still super firm, but very giving and round. You can feel the ripeness of the vintage. Nothing is green in there. It's so aromatic and playful and floral, but still with this grippy, graphite-y, cedar, pencil-y Pauillac thing that's like, I am the king. And when the original estate split, of course, the original Baron took this plot and then his relatives, the female ones, took over what is now, of course, Comtesse. And so the Comtesse is always the sort of more elegant, sort of soft, aromatic one. And Baron is like, bish! It's a solid right hook right to the nose. And especially out of the 3 liter, man, I mean, come on. This is insanity. I know buying 3 liters is always dodgy because it's like, oh, if it's not good, then it really sucks. It sucks. It sucks 4 times as much, to be exact. But, you know, no risk, no fun. When you get a great old bottle out of a large format and it's perfect, then it's also not only possibly 4 times more sucky, but actually 20 times better. Oh my God. So if you've never had it, come on by Sticks and Stones and grab one for yourself. If you can't make it to Munich, this little puppy just happens to be in one of my goat boxes on sombox.com. So whether you're here or not, grab one, be quick. They're flying off the shelf, and trust me, you do not want to miss this. As the Epicureans say, eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow we may die. So I'm enjoying the hell out of this. I hope you can too. See you next week on What to Drink Before You Croak.